Hi, I'm Siraj Dhanani, founder and CEO of InnAccel Technologies. A lot of exciting things are happening in the medical technology domain globally. There are new technologies like deep brain stimulation that have come out that have been a boon for patients with Parkinson's, epilepsy, and other neural diseases. Novel technologies in the delivery of drugs is also something that is poised to revolutionize the industry. There's a very interesting product being developed by Dr. Mir Imran, a medical innovator in San Francisco, which is called a robotic pill. And this pill, for the first time, will make proteins available orally. So instead of getting an injection of insulin, you would be able to pop a pill of insulin and it would do the same thing. This product is moving to clinical trials, and once successful, I think it will revolutionize the way drugs are delivered to a lot of patients and make their lives a lot simpler. So a lot of exciting things happening globally in the medical technology industry. I think over the next 10 years, we would see a significant impact in both the quality and treatment parameters that are available out there. Sure. InnAccel is a medical technology innovation company. InnAccel started about more than 6 years ago. So just by way of introduction, my background has always been in the healthcare field. I'm a pharmacist by training from Bombay, and then I worked in the healthcare sector in the US and in India for several years. I started a company called Pharmac Analytic Solutions back in 2003, and me and my partner, we exited that company in early 2012 through a sale to a company called IMS Health. After that, I was looking for my next innings, as it were, to do something else. And one area where I was really passionate about was in driving physical technology innovation. Now, let me explain that a bit. In India, I think we see a lot of innovation and entrepreneurial activity directed in the digital domain. And living in Bangalore, I think you're just surrounded constantly by people who are building the next app and the next website and the next whatnot. But I feel there's a big lacuna in the entire world outside of the digital world, the world that we live in, where there really isn't any research initiatives or any systematic innovation going on in areas that really matter to us: healthcare, water, sanitation, transport. So InnAccel really started out as a very broad and childish vision to create something that would help physical technology innovators in the country create novel products specifically for Indian needs. This idea took more shape when I met Mr. Vijay Rajan, who's our co-founder at InnAccel, an engineer and also somebody who's worked in the medtech industry for many years. After meeting him and deciding to work with him, the concept got crystallized in terms of driving medtech innovation, medical technology innovation, specifically for India and emerging markets. We started out as an incubator with a goal to support external companies that are innovating for India. And for the first 2 years, we kind of built our innovation and incubation platform. And in 2014, we created 3 teams of individuals to actually deploy the innovation platform that we had built. And here I'd like to call out the Stanford University's biodesign methodology, which really forms the crux of the innovation methodology that we've developed. In 2016, we took a conscious decision to not look at incubation and become a pure play medtech innovator company ourselves. We see this as just a natural evolution of InnAccel because we formed a very strong view on how medtech innovation should be done. And looking at the portfolio we've developed, we believe that we have very unique and innovative products. So we decided to focus our energies more on internal product development as opposed to helping external startups. So in 2016, we made that decision, and since then, InnAccel has been a pure play medtech company with 3 different divisions working in 3 areas: critical care, maternal care, and ENT. So in 2017, we got CE approval and launched our first product in India. That was a big milestone for us. Last year, 2018, we got European CE approval on 2 more products. We've launched 2 more products late last year. And in 2019, we plan to launch 3 more products, getting our entire portfolio out into the market. So this has been the story of InnAccel so far. So medtech companies like InnAccel are working on technologies that directly address problems faced by Indian and emerging market consumers and healthcare systems. Uh, like I said, InnAccel has 6 products in its portfolio, all of them designed, engineered, and priced specifically for Indian and emerging markets. Let me give you a couple of examples. From our critical care division, Koyo Labs. Uh, this team has developed 2 products, both first in the world, novel technologies that we filed global IP for, but for problems that are uniquely or at least predominantly in the emerging markets. Uh, the first product, VapCare, which we launched late last year, is a product that's designed to decrease the chances of a person getting lung infection while on a ventilator. Now, we all know of people who have been on a ventilator and died because of contracting lung infection. VapCare is the first system in the world that is designed to actively reduce the probability of this happening by automating a manual process that is today being done rather poorly in some cases by nurses. Uh, so VapCare addresses a condition that kills 250 to 300,000, 2.5 to 3 lakh people in India every year. Another product by the same team at the other end of the spectrum is a brilliant device that we've developed called SAS. SAS is what is called a neonatal CPAP system. It's intended to provide breathing support to premature babies. These devices are available in the NICU. In India, however, a lot of babies who are born outside of the NICU, they die while being transported to the NICU because of lack of breathing support. SAS is the first device in the world that can work in any kind of condition, without electricity, without batteries, to provide breathing support to a baby at the level of an NICU. It is portable, it can be carried in a rickshaw, in a bus with the baby, it can be powered through electricity, powered through a battery, powered through compressed gases, or even powered manually. It's the first CPAP system in the world that we can manually power. So even an attendant can manually power it and save the baby's life while they're being transported to the NICU. This condition, again called RDS, respiratory distress, kills over 150,000 babies every year in India. So products like these, once we get them out into the market to scale, I believe will be hugely impactful in reducing these unnecessary deaths that we see in India today. Uh, Over the last few years, the government has done several things to drive medtech innovation and support the industry in India. There has been an effort to set up specific incubators for medical technology companies, notably one at IIT Madras that has been set up. The government has also been very active in funding medtech innovations and R&D. And here I'd specifically like to applaud the Department of Biotechnology and their funding arm, BIRAC. Under Dr. Swaroop's leadership, BIRAC has provided grants at different levels of advancement to several medtech startups, I think more than 100. And these grants have been at initial levels to do initial R&D to get to proof of concept all the way up to manufacturing. And this laddered system of financial support provided by BIRAC has allowed a lot of products to move through the R&D chain and get to market. Many, but I think since we were talking about government support, I think one challenge that a lot of medtech innovators face is that of government procurement. A lot of the innovations that have been developed and especially funded by BIRAC and Department of Biotechnology are addressing specific problems that we see in the Indian public health system. Now, the main user and customer for that is the government or the state governments. Unfortunately, the procurement processes today that are followed at the governments are actively designed against innovative products. The tendering system, for instance, requires multiple people to provide bids, which is kind of difficult when a product is a unique product that is owned by one entity. So there are hiccups to government procurement, and just the pace of things moving is sometimes a bit too slow for a startup that will need to generate revenues in X number of years. But I think overall there are doing anything new in India or anywhere has its own set of challenges, but nothing that is insurmountable. The one challenge that a lot of medtech companies do face is also access to capital. The funding provided by Department of Biotechnology and BIRAC is good at a grant level, but we really need to see more venture capital and private equity activity in this space. Sure. So I think we've had a really good experience while talking to doctors. I think part of it has been because we've been engaging with doctors all throughout our product development process. Uh, However, when we do go to a new hospital and we talk about our products, and there is that initial sort of discomfort and disbelief, because very rarely or never has an Indian company come into a hospital and said, hey, this is a first in the world product that is being launched in India first. Right? I mean, we've had doctors come and tell us, hey, your product is great, it is a brilliant idea, but there must be something wrong, because if it is so good, why has GE not made it? So I think an Indian company coming up with something new is that they're like, oh, really? We're used to seeing stents and sutures. But after that, the doctors are very excited. They are like, okay, it's a great technology. Come show it to me. Show me it works in my hospital. And once again, talking about VapCare, the device intended to reduce lung infection in ventilated patients. We've done demos in about 12 or 14 hospitals, including all the big names you would know in Delhi. And not in a single one has a doctor said, we don't want to see the product. And everywhere we've gotten positive reviews. So I think once they get over that initial hurdle, I think doctors are actually excited to see a new product being brought out by an Indian company.